1 Samuel 18:10, which you've alluded to, so we won't read it, but I'll just cover it. The next day, a spirit of distress sent from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied inside the house while David was playing the harp as usual. Saul was holding a spear, and he hurled it thinking, I will pin David to the wall. But what happens once again? David eludes him just as he did while Saul was prophesying in the earlier narrative. Now, once again, here's what I want to focus on, and I want to be as clear as I know how to be here. Whatever we say about Saul's prophesying, it is clear that his heart is opposed to his brother in hatred and jealousy. So here's what's chilling. There's no indication that when he's prophesying, it's anything other than a word that comes from God. We don't know for sure the details of what he prophesied, but we know what he was holding and throwing as he prophesied, and it is a spear directed and hurled at David to pin him to the wall. Now, I don't want to get too graphic here, but if you've seen any of the movies that many of us might appreciate about valor in battle, one of the things in battle is that your goal is to destroy and decimate the enemy, pin the enemy to the wall, bring the enemy down. The fury with the righteous wrath that Saul is to show to the nations that oppose Jehovah. He is now turning in unrighteousness and selfishness and sinfulness against the very one who fights the Lord's battle better than he does.
Right.
He does it only out of jealousy, only out of political ambition. And so while he's prophesying, seeking to show himself to be of the Lord, he is hurling a javelin at the anointed one who is the true type of Christ, David. Because Jesus is not Saul's greater son and Lord. He is David's greater son and David's Lord. Let me just put it this way. And I think we're going to have to conclude on this, and we can go forward next time and try to pick this up and go a little faster. But when Saul was not only ill-equipped as king,
yeah, and as
he
prophet.
was ill-equipped as prophet. And in 1 Samuel 15, he was ill-equipped as a priest as well, because
Right.
he offered unauthorized sacrifices. So what do you
3 for
get?
3.
You get a global failure of a man prophesying and speaking of the Lord who is at the same time a fundamental imposter. And it's just so tragic for Saul. It's so tragic for him. Jealousy overtook him when it was said, Saul slain his thousands, David his tens of thousands. Jealousy overtook him when the prophets were prophesying and he tried to promote himself, so that the kingdom of God, the thing Saul did not see, and the thing that the prophets help us see, is that the kingdom of God is a God-centered, heavenly minded kingdom that runs by way of the cross and accepts being marginalized and disenfranchised from political power for the sake of the Messiah. Whereas Saul represented a man-centered, earthly minded political power that looks for political enfranchisement just like the nations. And I just can't help but say that these prophets are on the true Navi of the Lord, are on a collision course with Saul and all who in redemptive history are Saul-like. And it is as instructive to us today as these things were instructive to David and those seeking to follow the Lord and avoid the political bestiality of Saul.